Disney World crowds don't have to be random. There are nightmare weeks and rare calm times. I'm your Disney World wingman, and I'm gonna teach you how to crack the code. Number 1, weeks that eat you alive. There are weeks at Disney World that feel like you just walked face first into a wall of people. Pick the wrong date and you'll hit Magic Kingdom on a peak holiday, shoulder to shoulder through the hub. On those peak dates, demand can push the parks to capacity even before you arrive. The walkways stop flowing, the noise ricochets off the buildings, every move takes twice as long because you and everyone around you are aiming for the same space. But here's the truth, the crowd patterns you thought you knew don't apply anymore. Christmas week is still brutal. That's when we track some of the longest waits of the year. New Year's Eve, Main Street turns into a traffic jam hours before fireworks even start, and that's not just December. Mid-March through mid-April brings spring break plus Epcot Flower and Garden Festival. That's a surge you feel in your bones. President's Day week looks harmless on a calendar until you add the Princess Half Marathon. Hotel rates spike and so does the chaos. July 4th, heat index over 100, sweat rolling down your back, and thousands all gunning for the same castle view for that unique fireworks show. Thanksgiving week, same deal. Once that holiday decor goes up, so do the wait times. And you're shuffling through Liberty Square like you're in a parade you never signed up for. And if you're thinking, I'll just book a multi-pass or a single pass and glide right past it, slow down. Those tools help, but they don't erase the 85-minute posted wait at Rope Drop for a ride you couldn't get a reservation for and thought you could coast through first thing. And then there are the long mobile order return windows at places like Pecos Bill and other quick service restaurants have been seen to have on these days. These are strategy layers, not magic wands. It's not a one tool fixes everything kind of situation on the busiest days in Disney World. And the pain isn't just the lines, it's the sensory overload. The smell of hot pavement, that's what I'll say. It's a lot of interesting smells when it gets hot and crowded. And of course, that popcorn smell that can either smell really delicious or sometimes smell like plastic cheese went wrong, and I don't know why. It happens a lot, actually, at a popcorn stand very close to here. There's the weight of the Florida sun radiating back at you. It's watching a dad in Fantasyland chug his third $5 Diet Coke of the morning while his kids cry and his spouse scrolls frantically for a backup ride because Peter Pan is down. The worst weeks aren't an inconvenience, they're a force of nature. You don't control them, you walk in blind, they will control you. But there's a way out. There are quieter weeks, dates that look nothing like this. Weeks where you ride Space Mountain at 2 p.m. and still find a shady bench right after. I'll show you which ones and why the internet myths about low season are dead, but you can still have some fun with not too many people around in Walt Disney World if you know what you're doing. But first we've got to see the problem clearly, and then we'll talk about the escape hatches. Section 2, RIP the crowd rules you grew up with. If you've ever heard someone say, just go in January, it's empty, or summer is the worst, you need to rethink that. Those shortcuts haven't been reliable for years, and they're misleading today. The old rule book was simple. Avoid school breaks and summer, and you'd have the park to yourself. That broke down once Disney moved to park reservations and variable pricing. They don't want long stretches of empty parks anymore, and they've gotten better at smoothing attendance across the year. The result? Crowds ebb and flow differently now. Here's what that actually looks like. Early January used to be one of the lightest times of year. These days, the very start of January is busy from New Year's to Marathon weekend, but after that, the parks typically ease up a little. You'll still find low crowd days later in the month, but you can't assume every day is empty. Likewise, summer isn't automatically the worst anymore. Late June and July are hot and busy by most people's standards, but the difference between those weeks isn't extreme, and some July periods have been a little lighter lately for reasons that aren't fully clear. I mean, there has been a lot of construction. It has been extraordinarily hot. Maybe people are staying away for those reasons. But the point is, you need more than a blanket avoid summer rule now. It's also not enough to just pick a random weekday. Disney uses ticket prices and AP blockouts to funnel demand. When you see lower-priced one-day tickets on Disney's calendar, that's a hint that they expect softer crowds. The same goes for annual pass calendars. When the local APs are blocked out, you'll see fewer of them in the parks. When they're not, expect more people at things like festival days at Epcot. And the old avoid Epcot on the weekends tip, sometimes it's still true, but festivals run so long now that weekdays can get just as crowded. If you're planning from a pre-2020 blog or Pinterest crowd calendar, you're working off a park that doesn't exist anymore. The modern pattern is about micro windows and event schedules. Holidays run Disney race weekends, cheer competitions, and AP blackouts. Those are what really move crowds now. The bottom line, you can't build a smart plan on nostalgia or assumptions. The version of Disney World you remember from 10 years ago, or 20 years ago, or 30 or 40 or 50 plus years ago are gone. Once you know the real signals, you can plan around them and find the lighter days that still exist. Section 3, holiday horror? It's one thing to say Christmas week is busy. It's another thing to feel that reality in your bones. And I know, because I'm often the reporter in the parks on Christmas Day. So here's the part that nobody tells you. Those early hours can feel surprisingly calm. While the internet may make it sound like Main Street is gridlock from sunrise, the reality is a lot of guests are still in their resort rooms opening presents, lingering over breakfast, or heading to holiday brunches. If you rope drop on Christmas morning, you might walk onto rides you assumed would be slammed. I've seen Seven Dwarfs Mine Train posting 45 minutes mid-morning, while the week before and after was pushing triple digits. But don't let that lull fool you. By late morning into the afternoon, the energy does start to shift. Families finish their resort traditions and they start to head in. Then, when the walkways start to fill, wait times climb and the hub gets thick with people staking out parade and fireworks spots hours early. Christmas afternoons and the days immediately after Christmas are where you feel the full force. The same pattern shows up on other major holidays too. New Year's Eve morning can feel mellow compared to the evening crush. Even July 4th has a quiet morning before the wall of people arrives. The point isn't that holidays are easy, it's that the crowds don't always look like what you've heard online. They're dynamic, they build. And that's why you can't just plan for Christmas week as one flat thing. The busiest days are often the 25th through the 30th, not Christmas morning itself. The pressure points are about timing, the time of day, event schedules, and where people are flowing, not just the date on the calendar. If you know the patterns, you can take advantage of the quiet windows and brace for the surge. And the goal is never going to be avoiding crowds completely on these days. It's knowing when they're coming and how to move differently. That's the part most people miss, and it's how to protect your day, whether you're there on a holiday or not. Section 4, hidden calm windows are closing. But when one door closes and another opens, so is that the same with a window? After all that talk about wall-to-wall crowds, here's the good news. There are still weeks and windows at Disney World that feel like you've hacked the system. They just don't look anything like the old Pinterest myths. Remember when we used Pinterest to literally do everything, including plan vacations? It started out as like a way to mood board your wedding, and next thing you know, you're like planning your resort stay. This is where actual data and on-the-ground reporting matter. Our data and experience show us the biggest crowd dips happen when school calendars, weather, and event schedules work against most travelers. Think late August into early September. The kids are back in school, it's hotter than the surface of the sun, and it's technically hurricane season. It isn't technically, it absolutely is hurricane season. Most people avoid this time, and that's exactly why you'll see shorter waits and cheaper rooms. If you can handle the heat, you'll ride like you own the place. If you can get your kids out of school, you're cool parents. Yeah. Another sweet spot, late February into early March after the marathon crowds and before spring break starts. Cooler weather, Festival of the Arts is still running at Epcot, and the crowds are softer than you'd expect. AllEars.net notes that weekdays in this window have consistently posted some of the lowest average waits of the year. And don't sleep on early November or the first 2 weeks of December. Food and wine is still going in November, and you'll get Christmas decorations without the Christmas crowds. That early December stretch feels magical without the gridlock. Our friends over at DFB have covered it for years, and I see it every season. It's the best mix of weather, entertainment, and sanity you're going to find. There are obvious big windows, but here's the real insider move. There are also early, quiet windows hiding inside even the busiest weeks. We just talked about Christmas morning being lighter before the afternoon surge. That pattern shows up on other holidays too. Rope drop almost always buys you a couple of golden hours before the masses show up, even on sold-out days. And evenings during major parades or fireworks can create ride walk-ons because half the park is staked out on the hub grass. So you need to know the weeks Disney doesn't want you to notice and hours when everyone else is distracted. And when you do, the parks feel completely different. We'll dig deeper into how to pick your dates with real data next, but if you've been feeling like every day at Disney is a nightmare, it's not. The quiet still exists, it's just hiding in different places now. Section 5, pick like a local. Here's where the magic happens. Those secret quiet weeks we just talked about, they're not a mystery. Disney tells you exactly when they expect crowds. You just have to know where to look. The first clue is hiding in plain sight. Disney's own ticket calendar. One-day tickets are priced dynamically now, and those price tiers are a dead giveaway for crowd expectations. If a one-day ticket is $164 on a Saturday and $144 the following Tuesday, Disney's telling you that Tuesday is lighter. They don't want empty parks anymore, so they shape demand with pricing, or they try to anyway. Disney Food Blog and AllEars both point this out regularly, and it lines up with what I see on the ground. Cheaper ticket days almost always mean more breathing room. The second clue? AP blackout calendars. Florida resident annual passes. A lot of the tiers come with blackout days. And these can be some of the biggest crowd shapers that nobody even really talks about. In July, most Florida APs are blocked out for several weeks. That's why mid-July can actually feel calmer than late June. On the flip side, when APs are not blacked out, you'll see more locals flooding Epcot for festivals. Those calendars are public, and you can check them out before you book. Third, event schedules. Run Disney weekends, Marathon in January, Princess Half in February, Wine and Dine in November, pack hotels and parks. Major Epcot festivals like Food and Wine or Festival of the Arts spike on the weekends. Even national holiday weekends you'd never think about. President's Day, Columbus Day, combine with races or cheer competitions and push crowd levels. AllEars and DFB Crowd Diaries flag this every year, and you can confirm it with Disney's own published event dates. And finally, historic wait time trends. Late August, lower waits across all 4 parks. Early December, average waits 20 to 30 minutes lower than the week after. These patterns seem to repeat like clockwork, even in this new normal. The point is, you don't have to guess. Disney telegraphs this stuff if you know where to look. Locals already do it. That's why you see us in the parks midweek in late February and avoiding Easter like it's a contact sport. You don't need a secret algorithm. You just need to cross-check 3 things before you book: the ticket calendar, AP blackouts, and event schedules. 10 minutes of homework can save you hours in line and hundreds of dollars in lodging. And if you can't avoid a peak date, well, that's okay too. Section 6, beating the holiday wall. That sounds like something in a grade school classroom. The holiday wall, it sounds like a nice thing. I don't want to beat it. Like pound on it with my fists? No. Sometimes you don't get a choice. School schedules, work calendars, family plans. Suddenly you're going to Disney the week after Christmas or during spring break. You've seen the wall of people we talked about earlier, so how do you get through it without hating life? The first move is mental. If you walk into Magic Kingdom at 10 a.m. on December 29th expecting an empty park, you've already lost. The crowds are not your enemy, your resistance to them is. And that's why I always tell people, pick 1 or 2 big priorities, hit them early, and let the rest of the day unfold as it's going to. If Seven Dwarfs Mine Train is 100 minutes at 9:45 a.m., you're not standing in that line debating it, you're pivoting. Second, rope drop and reset. The first 90 minutes after park opening are gold, even on sold out days. You can knock out 1 or 2 headliners while everyone else is still scanning tickets. Then build in a midday break on purpose. Go back to your hotel, get in the pool, take a nap. Come back when the sun dips and the energy shifts. Crowds swell in the middle of the day. You don't have to be there for it. Third, use your passes wisely. Multi-pass, single pass, or Premier Pass. Well, Premier Pass is a magic wand, but the other 2 aren't. They're tools. Book them for high-weight rides and just be ready to refresh. AllEars and DFB both know that people cancel and times open up throughout the day. And remember, even with passes, hub gridlock during fireworks still happens, so don't overpay thinking it fixes literally everything. Fourth, eat off-peak. Don't wait until 1 p.m. when you're starving to mobile order. We already talked about the fact that Pecos Bill and Cosmic Rays have seen return windows fill up hours ahead. So place your order before 11 a.m. for a lunch window, or wait until 3 and snack to hold you over. Finally, know your reset zones. We'll break these down more later, but every park has them. AC heavy pavilions like the Seas at Epcot, or Star Wars Launch Bay at Hollywood Studios. Rafiki's Planet Watch is great at Animal Kingdom. Build time there into your day or you'll hit a wall. Even 10 minutes sitting in the shade with a Coke buys you more patience than you think. The goal is to move differently. The families you see melting down in Fantasyland aren't less worthy. They just didn't plan for the wall because they probably had no idea to look out for it. And the best part, when you handle a peak week like this, you come home with the same memories as someone who went in early September. You'll remember the fireworks, not the friction. Section 7, when they watch, you ride. Most people treat Disney entertainment as a traffic jam. I treat it as a cheat code. Here's what I mean. When the parade starts or when the fireworks countdown hits, half the park stops moving. They pick a curb spot and they camp out on the hub grass. And they're parked there for 30 to 60 minutes. That's your moment. While they're waiting for Mickey to float by, you can be on Big Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, or Haunted Mansion with a fraction of the wait. AllEars crowd diaries have tracked this for years. When Festival of Fantasy rolls, Frontierland and Adventureland wait times dip. When Happily Ever After or Disney Starlight go off, Tomorrowland is a ghost town. And this works in almost every park. Luminous in Epcot pulls crowds to the lagoon, and that's the moment to hit Frozen or Test Track. At Hollywood Studios, Fantasmic is a people magnet. While thousands are streaming into the amphitheater, you can walk onto pretty much any ride you want. Animal Kingdom doesn't have a big nighttime spectacular and the park closes early, but even there, scheduled entertainment like Festival of the Lion King and Finding Nemo, Big Blue and Beyond can create mini crowd vacuums in Pandora, in Africa, and Dinoland. And this isn't just about rides. Mobile order times drop during fireworks. Everyone's on Main Street, not clogging the mobile order queue. Same with walkways. You can move from Tomorrowland to Fantasyland at 8:55 p.m. faster than you could at 2 p.m. because the human tide is stationary watching a show. Now, if you want to see fireworks or the parade, that's great. Just commit to it. Pick your spot an hour early if it matters to you. Don't be the family sprinting across the hub at 8:57, dragging a stroller through a wall of people, trying to get a good spot to watch Disney Starlight. Either use the entertainment as a ride hack or a magical moment. Halfway is where the stress lives. Section 8, when Disney maxes out. And I don't mean Goofy's son, because that would be cool. I want to max out like that. Picking a peak week doesn't just make ride queues longer, it changes the entire rhythm of Disney World. On those sold out holiday dates and heavy spring break weeks, You feel the ripple effect everywhere. It starts with rides, even family attractions like Winnie the Pooh or Pirates can be posting 70+ minute waits before it even hits noon. But it doesn't stop there. When the park is at capacity, every system slows down. Mobile order is one of the clearest examples. AllEars.net has warned that on the busiest days, lunch pickup windows can fill hours in advance. By late morning during Christmas week, those return times aren't 20 minutes out, they're hours ahead. If you didn't order early, you're stuck scavenging snacks and hoping your group doesn't melt down. Entertainment creates its own gridlock. When Festival of the Fantasy rolls or fireworks times approach or Disney Starlight comes up, thousands of guest stakeout spots along the hub and parade route. It's not just about seeing the show, it's about understanding the flow so you don't get trapped in it. Even outside the parks, the timing matters. On marathon weekends and sold out December nights, resort transportation and security bottlenecks get worse because everyone's moving at the same time. Buses and Skyliner lines are far longer during those peaks than what you see in a random September week. That's not generic Disney transport tip. This is a reality of what happens when the resort is packed. And it doesn't just stop with Disney transportation itself. I take Ubers back and forth to work every day, and the amount of traffic that happens on those marathon weekends, it's the Run Disney events clog up everything. They close roads, there are detours all over the place, and it takes forever for me to get to the parks and do my job. The point is, when you pick one of the worst times to visit, it's not just the ride wait times that you need to plan for. Food, movement, shows, even getting to and from your hotel, all of it takes longer. Knowing that in advance lets you build a strategy. Mobile order breakfast or an early lunch, watch parades from the far side of the route, rope drop before the resort crowd finishes brunch. If you plan like it's a normal day, the spike will break you. But if you plan like the whole property is running at max capacity, you'll survive it. Section 9, where the meltdowns live. We see it every peak season. The worst meltdowns don't happen because of one long ride line. They happen because everything else piles on. During Christmas week, spring break, or busy festival weekends, the pressure hits from all sides. And it's not just kids. Oh no. When you pick a peak week, there's no slack in the system. So the moment something slips, emotions explode. Have I been that person? Well, let's just say I have cried in Disney World. We're gonna leave it at that. And the way to prevent it, unfortunately, isn't a perfect itinerary. Unfortunately, it's timing, honesty before you ever step foot in the park. Tell your group what these weeks actually feel like. You're not gonna ride everything. Parade viewing areas will fill up and you might not get your favorite spot. And if you want lunch at noon, you have to mobile order before the crowds wake up. You're gonna have to mobile order the minute you hit the park, or even before. We've spent enough holiday weeks and spring breaks in these parks to know the patterns, new patterns that have shown up since the parks reopened in 2020. When you go at the worst times, you have to plan for the wall, manage expectations, add breathing room, and you won't be the one screaming outside Peter Pan's flight. Section 10, the blueprint. We've spent years in these parks during every crowd pattern you can imagine, and we track what works. What we're about to lay out isn't a hack. It's the framework you need that lines up with what we've seen on the ground, and the best planning sources keep confirming. Number 1, pick your dates with data. We check Disney's one-day ticket pricing calendar, event schedules like Run Disney and Epcot festivals, holiday weeks, and AP blackout calendars together. This was another tip earlier. We're telling you again because this is the blueprint. When those signals line up as high, we treat it as a peak week. When they line up as low, we expect lighter crowds. This is the same pattern AllEars and DFB use for their crowd outlooks. 2, protect your mornings. Early hours move better. Regardless of crowd level, we pick 2 mornings to hit our non-negotiables. Be in a place before official open. Hit 1 priority ride right away and a second right after. Both AllEars and Disney Food Blog both stress this. Rope drop works. Prioritize on paper. We make a short list. 2 must-dos per park we'll either wait for or book a lightning lane reservation for if we can get it, plus a few nice-to-haves we only do if timing makes sense. The main thing to remember is you can't do everything when the parks are slammed. Number 4, use passes strategically. Multi-pass and single pass, or Premier Pass if you can afford it. Whatever you have, aim them at rides that truly hold high weights. If you have Premier Pass, you're not having to make reservations, and you're also not having to look at the app the whole time. But busy weeks also mean the prices are going to be the highest. Number 5, eat outside the rush. On heavy days, we mobile order lunch first thing. I walk right in and I'll place my mobile order for the time that I think that I'm going to be hungry. Number 6, ride when they watch. Parades and nighttime shows pull crowds to that one spot. Remember, if you want to see them, stake your spot out early, and that's one of the priorities of your day. You're going to be spending some time sitting and waiting for a parade or a fireworks show. If you don't care to see them, that's your window to ride. Number 7, plan that reset before you need it. We block a midday break, a resort, pool, AC, pavilion, or quiet lounge. Hit up Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom. Luxuriate. Try that non-alcoholic mocktail that has coffee sprinkled on top. Number 8, refresh the app for patterns. We don't just look at posted wait times. No, we watch for drops or for when a land empties for a show. You get more done by reacting in real time. If you unfortunately have your phone put away, you're not accessing the data that can really help you get through these crowded days. So a dependency on the phone is kind of that's the sermon of the day. I hate to say it. Number 9, before the trip, each person picks their one must-do. It can be more on slower times. This is a great idea for families and travel parties in general, regardless of the time of year or how busy the parks are. Hit those things early. This will prevent most group fights, honestly, if everyone knows they get to do their one thing. Obviously, things come up. Rides can be down for an entire day, or rides can be down for the period of time that you have available. The only real thing you can count on is the fact that things will definitely go wrong. And finally, number 10, have your bailouts. 1 shaded seating area per park, 1 easy access food spot, 1 alternate path around a parade choke point. We've learned these from experience. We're here in the parks every single day. We have reporters out here learning and maneuvering and figuring everything out ahead of time so we can help you when you get here and you've already spent a bunch of money to be here, so you're not wasting time doing things you don't have to. The bottom line, the calendar sets the terrain, your plan sets the outcome. These moves aren't hype. They're what work. And they're consistent with what the best on-the-ground reporting, us, all our hard-working reporters, and I mean that. We have the best reporters in the business here in Disney World, and we all say that this works. If you have better ideas, different ideas, let us know in the comments below, because this is truly the way we all get through it, is by learning from each other. If you made it to the end, go ahead and put this password into the comments below. And while you're down there, hit like and subscribe. And go ahead and turn on notifications, because then you'll be the first to know when myself or one of my friends comes out with a brand new video, something we do all week. Thank you so much. And remember, here at AllEars.net, we're serious about fun. See you next time.